I believe jihad is the biggest problem, and I believe Hamas are a large jihadist organisation. When they killed 1,400 Jews, look at how much they were empowered across the Western world. Worldwide domination, that's Hamas's goal.
The one thing that you guys do really have in common, if you look at Twitter these days, it's you're both Israeli intelligence.
It's Tate Mossad as well.
Have you seen they cropped a photo of him?
Oh yeah, and they put it with a picture
with the Star of David and like the Yiddish, and
he got the picture that they cropped. But do you know what they've done with me? Like, I went to Israel. I went there probably 7 years ago. Yeah, I went there, and when you're in Israel, they have souvenir shops. So I bought a Mossad T-shirt. If I was in Mossad, would I be wearing a fucking Mossad T-shirt? It's like when I went to New York, I bought a New York Police Department T-shirt.
Yeah,
it didn't mean I'm in New York Police Department, but because it suits. And I said, and I had who did I go on recently? What's the girl's name? The American girl in London who's the
Pearl.
Yeah, Pearl.
She was here yesterday.
Was she?
Yeah. We did an interview yesterday. She's a good girl.
Yeah, same. I thought she was a good girl. I like anyone who doesn't back down. Yeah. So I respect, even if I disagree with people's ideas, even Muslims, I think he don't back down. Yeah, I respect him on. He believes what he says. He doesn't really care about the effect. He doesn't care about. He's not bothered. He's like, yeah, that's what I believe. But with Pearl, so I said to Pearl, because people go, yeah, he was funded by Israel. So I said, Pearl, you've earned money from YouTube advertisement, right? Yeah. The two lead people in YouTube are these two gentlemen who are both Zionist Jews, which means you're funded by Zionist Jews.
Oh, fuck.
That's what it means. It's the same with you.
Damn it.
That's it. But that's what it means. So, I mean, the attacks against me. I worked for Rebel Media in 2015. Rebel Media are a Jewish, or Jewish owned, like Ezra's Jewish, but they're a media outlet in Canada. And they receive funding by a gentleman called Shillman, who... I was on £5,000 a month from Rebel Media, as a journalist. Good wage. I was the best journalist there was. So I deserved it. I was receiving that funding, but I've never met Shillman. He's an American, and he gives Rebel Media funding. But then because of that, they've said that I then work for him. Not that I care anyway. If he wants to give me money, I'll take his money. Do you know what I mean? For my work. So I've never been paid to influence my opinion on any of the issues. I say what I believe. I say what I've researched, and I say what I see. I believe jihad is the biggest problem, and I believe Hamas are a large jihadist organisation.
And I think it makes sense from your perspective because you are living in the UK, and one of the big problem in the UK is the mass immigration, the demographic change in the UK, and the things that you're talking about. Perhaps in other regions of the world we could have a different conversation. If we're talking about America and the influence that Israel has on American politics, that would be a different conversation.
That's where they're coming from. But then I believe there's an Iranian pushed agenda to get the Christians of the Bible Belt in America to align with the Islamic community on this issue. That's what I see happening. Yeah.
But the Christians of America are very much Christian Zionists. So that's a massive thing in America.
But now there's there's large influencers who I believe are being paid to influence that another way. The anti-Jew movement now, which is since October 7th, those on the far right have aligned with the Islamists together to hate.
There's a few strange bedfellows happening for sure. When you look at the Islamic Queers for Palestine thing.
I watched last week as one of the biggest far right anti-Jew Nazis in the UK is sitting on a podcast with one of the biggest Islamist people in the UK, and they're sitting there having a friendly discussion about Israel and Jews because they both hate Israel and Jews. But this one wants to implement Sharia on our whole country, and this one hates everyone that's not white, and he wants every one of them removed. But here they've found something to align on and join on, and they're joining together because they hate Jews.
Yeah, that strange bedfellow. Like for me, I like Western culture. I like Christian European culture. I'm a Christian. I don't have any allegiance to Jews, and I don't have any apparently I'm paid by Zionists.
Are you as well?
but no.
Everyone who says anything someone don't like is like, yeah, you're Mossad.
You know what someone said in my comments the other day? They go, Jake, is his name Jacob? Probably a gatekeeper. They call me a gatekeeper.
Controlled opposition. Well, you will be after this interview.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like, I don't really have any allegiance to anybody besides Christianity. I want to see the revival of Christianity. I want Christian European culture to increase their birth rates, and I want for them to be in charge of the world because I believe it's the most benevolent force in the world. So I don't have any allegiance to anybody else. That's just the way I see it.
I get it. And people said you didn't have to take a side. They said to me, you don't have to take a side. I think, well, I did. Because Hamas come out after October 7th on October 8th and said, yeah, next is Europe. So it's the Jews today. They say Saturday first, then come Sunday. That's their saying. Saturday first is the people, the Jews, and then Sunday's the Christians. They haven't got their eyes set on Israel. Yeah, they've got their eyes set on the world. Worldwide domination, a caliphate state. That's Hamas's goal. So I just see that if they were to conquer Israel, let's pretend they did. Yeah? Let's pretend all the Islamic barbaric shitholes around Israel decide to win the war, and they did win the war. When they killed 1,400 Jews, look at how much they were empowered across the Western world. Look at them on the streets, hundreds of thousands of them calling for Gassans and Jews, calling for jihad. If they were to successfully take over Israel, you think they stop there? Do you think they stop there?
I think it's a very complicated conversation because I do believe that USA have made some very, very foolish choices in terms of their foreign policy and in terms of the role that they've played same with England as well, in destabilizing places like Iraq and Syria. And I think that there's also quite a good argument to say that Israel has had quite an effect in influencing American politics in destabilizing places in the Middle East.
Yeah, but so Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, they absolutely.
So Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but yeah.
So Saudi Arabia. So it's like, so Saudi Arabia. I agree. I wholeheartedly believe that Tony Blair should be brought to justice for the illegal invasion of Iraq. We were lied to. The public were lied to. We were radicalised. We were made to support an unjust invasion of an Islamic country. And I fully understand why the Muslim population are outraged by what happened. Yeah. It should be, he is a war criminal. Yeah. And exactly the same happened with Gaddafi, I believe. Yeah. They took out Gaddafi. By taking out Gaddafi, they opened up the floodway to Europe.
Exactly right.
To mass flood Europe. I believe the same with Syria. When Christians were safe under Assad, then they want to get rid of Assad. Why do they want to get rid of Assad?
And Saddam as well.
And Saddam. Why do they want to get rid of Assad? They want to get rid of Assad because Saudi want rid of Assad. Yeah, we're fighting their wars. Yeah, at the same time. So all of this is happening. We're funding and funding ISIS, because it supported us because they wanted rid of Assad without a care in the world. Even now with what's happening in Ukraine, they do not have a care in the world for the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian men who have been killed. They don't give a shit. We don't see their bodies. We don't hear anything about them. They don't care. They are cannon fodder because they want to get rid of Putin. Yeah, they're all cannon fodder. So, and I think all of these same people, when people are crying out, so I have a view, I believe at times the British government and the American government have been the biggest terrorists in the world. Yeah, that doesn't mean I hate the American population or the British population. The same way I can draw a differentiate between the Jews who live in Israel and the Israeli state who control it. Yeah, the government who control it. Just like I can draw a difference between the American population who love their country and Joe Biden. Joe Biden's put them into conflicts and funding wars, and that's not what the American people want. Some of the things
I just look at it and it just pisses me off because the last 25 years or so, there's been so many terrible decisions made that have made the Islamic world, like obviously not all of them, but there's certain factors of the Islamic world that hate, like the Houthis' slogan is death to America.
They cheer it every day in school in Iran.
They mean that shit.
They sing it. Yeah, they sing it every day in Iran.
Yeah, they mean that shit. And we're in a position now where the future looks very bleak. I was watching an interview with John Mearsheimer and Piers Morgan the other day, and I kind of had to agree with him that the future of international politics looks very bleak. On Ukraine, though, one thing that I will say, one thing that they don't care about is the amount of Ukrainian women that are being sold into sexual slavery as well. All of these women who are being brought over the borders from Ukraine and are being sold into sexual slavery, but this is something that nobody really talks about because
child trafficking. Ukraine was the hub for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Ukraine's history is the most corrupt country in Europe.
Yep.
It was used to launder all the Joe Biden's money. It was where all the elite laundered their money for years, and probably why they couldn't allow Putin to get an influence there because of the history that could have been told. Probably.
Yeah, Ukraine is the hub for human trafficking. It's the hub for arms trafficking. Yeah. And then you look at Joe Biden's son Hunter's relationship with Burisma, which is a big multinational corporation in Ukraine. I mean, if people can look at those facts alone and then say,
and then fly a Ukraine flag, you mugs.
Yeah.
Stick a Ukraine flag. So we're all cheering for Ukraine. It's like, what are you doing? You're cheering for war. You're cheering for all those innocent people to get killed. I see it. We instigated that. They elected a government. It was an elected government who decided for close relationship with Russia. We then funded a coup, probably similar to what we're going to want to do in Hungary. Yeah, we funded a coup because we needed rid of that government. There was an 8-year civil conflict funded by us. 60 Russians were set on fire and burned alive in one day. No one faces prosecutions. You banned the speaking of Russian overnight across the country when millions of people speak Russian. You encourage, we're still encouraging now, discrimination against Russian people. You've done that to justify the anger, and you blame everything so that you can justify and radicalise the population to supporting your murderous campaign.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it winds me up because I see so many people think, if you're flying a rainbow flag, you're usually flying a Ukraine flag, a European Union flag, and you hate Tommy Robinson. They're the 4 golden ones. It's like I get a message of hate, sometimes a Celtic flag. Sorry, not to all you Celtic fans, yeah, but sometimes a Celtic flag as well. So I look and think, okay, I see someone commenting, and I click on their profile, and it's always, and usually got a vaccine symbol as well.
Got to be vaxxed, bro, as well.
Got to be vaxxed. It's all the same. It's the same shit. Black Lives Matter, pro-Palestine. It's the same groups, the same movements, the same radicalisation.
If you enjoyed that reality-based podcast clip, make sure to subscribe to the reality-based YouTube channel. We'll be uploading many clips and the full podcast. And also, if you prefer the audible version, you can check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at Reality Based.